You lucky ducks. I'm gonna draw my life for you. I was born on January 16th, 1987, weighing 7 pounds, 20 ounces, and I was 20 inches long. When I was 4 years old, I started kindergarten. Because I was very shy, very quiet, and very cautious of kids my own age, I only had 2 to 3 friends. They felt like I needed to be protected, so never left my side and often did my work for me. Thanks to my friends, I passed into first grade, but because of my difficulty with comprehension and social skills, I did grade 1 twice. This is when I started showing symptoms of anxiety. I would often chew my pencils till nothing was left and completely crumble my erasers. Years passed, and I still showed signs of anxiety, but at home I would create dances and force my 2 sisters to join in, and we would always give Mom and Dad a show. It's funny now, but I was so bossy. Everything had to be perfect. If it wasn't, I often got mad and yelled at them. Despite having fun with my sisters, I wasn't a happy child. I often cried myself to sleep and would occasionally wake up while everyone else was sleeping and be in the middle of a full-out panic attack. I hated them, yet I thought this was normal, and every child experienced this. By the time I was 13, my parents got divorced, and I moved with my mom and sisters into a new city. It was very scary, but also very exciting. At 14, I attended a new school, which was closer to my home, which means I had to say goodbye to all the friends I had worked so hard to have. I still cried myself to sleep most nights, and started wondering if these emotions were normal. 8th grade proved to be very difficult. I had no friends, my personal life was changing, and I was constantly being bullied at school. This increased my anxiety and my depression, and I cried more than ever before. I don't like looking back on that year for obvious reason. At 15, my mom remarried and I gained a stepdad and 2 stepbrothers. They're all pretty awesome and have shown me how a man is supposed to treat a woman. By this point, I stopped forcing my sisters to perform with me and instead did it on my own. I started using my stepdad's camcorder and fell in love with recording and creating. But the older I got, the sadder I became. I knew by now that this wasn't normal and I needed professional help. I was scared and felt like no one understood me. A life you didn't want to live was unbearably painful, and I knew something needed to be done. I was scared out of my mind, but I took a chance and I told my mom how I was feeling, why I thought I felt that way, and that I needed counseling. She was very worried for me and read the letter I wrote her that I was too afraid to say out loud. Immediately, she found me my first counselor and my appointment was 3 days later. I was terrified and didn't know what to expect, but she was so nice. I spent the next 3 years working out my personal issues, and in this time, I was provisionally diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and officially diagnosed with depression. When I was 19, we terminated our sessions. I was happier than I've ever been. Backtrack a year, to 2005, I graduated high school, then met my future husband, and by 2006, we were engaged. 6 months later, on July 14th, 2006, we got married. It seems only like yesterday, but we are still very much in love and are planning to be married forever. During this time, I worked at an elementary school, which I loved. Having a job and being a wife made me so incredibly happy, and I thought life couldn't get any better. But I was wrong. My depression returned with a vengeance, and I often threatened suicide to my husband. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would be alive today. He knew about my love for videos, so he bought me my very own camcorder for my 20th birthday, and I was so excited. At the age of 22, my husband and I moved from Alberta, where I'm from, to Ontario, where he's from. We sold pretty much everything except our keepsakes, and it was a very thrilling adventure. At 24, my anxiety returned bigger and badder than before. Now I was getting panic attacks 3 to 4 times a day, was officially diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, and started seeing another counselor. We didn't mesh well, so I quickly moved on to a new one. She was nice, but I felt she wasn't helping me that much either. To ease the burdens of my life, I kept creating videos and discovered YouTube. I made an account and I started posting videos. In 2014, I finally found a therapist that works well for me and my needs. I am so grateful that I found her. I learned so many skills to help me cope. This year, my grandma passed away, and I've never experienced a loss so huge. It impacted me greatly. This year, I was also provisionally diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Luckily, I'm on the low side of the disorder, but it still causes my mood instability, plus many other symptoms that affect my day-to-day life. On a positive note, I'm celebrating my 9th anniversary this year. It's hard work, but it's so worth it. If there was one thing I could tell you, it would be don't suffer in silence. You are special, and it's okay to admit that you're not okay. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Peace out. Oh, yeah, and just in case you have this thing called Instagram, you should follow me.